having somebody else make my tea or
Well,
decaf.
yeah, and T-Pop too. Like they kind of just have a good vibe to them, and I like seeing the employees there.
Yeah, they're nice and they're cool. It's like I'd rather go there than Starbucks, or I like Republic of Pie too.
Republic of Pie.
It's
haven't been
on it's right on Magnolia,
there. Okay.
across from what is it? What's the spot, dude? Fuck. Rodini Park.
See, I haven't been out that way.
Oh, Magnolia's got all the. How
Bro,
long you been here? Magnolia got all the food
I've been
spots.
here since like January, bro. Hasn't been too long.
All right, we're gonna go to Rodini Park.
Yeah, we
next
could go,
week.
bro. And, you know, that's how we're starting off the podcast. This is the Lunch Table, Food for Thought. I'm Nico Blitz. Definitely talking about coffee with my next guest, Emilio Rojas.
What up?
Man?
What up?
So, you know, your name. So, I met you, I don't know, maybe like last year or something when you were doing like a press run for Life Got in the Way. You did a freestyle over at the station.
Oh yeah, that was with Kev and Head. And
Yeah,
Kev
yeah.
actually at the end of the freestyle was like, "Yeah, usually you're more quotable than that."
Damn.
I was like, "Damn, Kev is fucked up, bro."
Hey,
We
man,
can-
Kev
we can
keeping
go.
it super blunt, though. You know how he is.
Kev don't want these hands, bro.
Shout out Bootleg Kev, man.
Shout to Kev. For
But
sure.
you know, to go even farther back, one of my favorite albums of all time, right? Popular Culture by XV.
Okay.
And I didn't even realize you were on that project up
yeah, it
until
was.
like you got to the station. I was like, Emilio Rojas, that name sounds so familiar. And you were on Wonkavator.
Yeah. The wait, hold the shit. How to call this big? Get a hold that.
Front way,
yeah.
sideways, and I'm just like, yo, like it's a weird connection that I've made. And you know, XV is one of my favorite rappers. So I want
Right.
to start off like that. Like, how'd you link up with him?
Oh man, I don't even know. That was years ago, bro.
Hella long. Because even
Yeah.
Popular Culture was like 2011.
Yeah, he just hit me actually. I think he dropped a project, so he just hit me like maybe a month ago because he was having like his release party in
Yeah.
Kansas and Wichita.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, you want to come out and perform? I'm about to start dropping music." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, bet, let's do it." And then 2 weeks before the show, he's like, "Oh man, something happened with the venue. We can't have you out."
Damn, that's crazy.
But that's it's the homie for years.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Good people, man.
That's
And,
crazy.
you know, you even have that connection with Hi-Rez too, and you were just out in Florida, right?
yeah. I was just down in Orlando and not Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
So
How was that?
It was cool. It rains every day, bro. It was like have you been in every day at like 3 p.m. it rains for like 20 minutes, then it's dry by 4.
See, I don't know if I could deal with
Oh,
that.
it's trash, bro. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Were you out there to perform, right?
Yeah,
On
so
this tour?
it's crazy because, you know, I rap, so it's like I don't have anything to do during the day a lot of times. And it's like, you know, like I think Rez was on like a little weekend run. He was like, "Yo, bro," like, because he used to live out here. And he hit me like, "Yo, bro, can you watch my pets? Because I don't trust anybody with my pets." I was like, "Yeah, whatever. Cool, book the flight."
Yeah.
So he booked the flight, and then I ended up sticking around because he had 2 shows down there. So I just stuck around and rocked the South Florida shows with him.
Okay.
Yeah, it was cool. It was fun.
How any music between you guys? Because you guys spent a while there.
Oh, man.
It's Friday now. You're supposed to come here Monday, bro.
Yeah, I ended up extending my stay just because... Why did I extend my stay? I don't know. There's no real reason. Oh, we didn't. We were just late on booking the flight, and by the time
nice.
by the time the flight for the 12th came, I was like, man, this is like $500. I'll wait till the 250 flight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I booked. I had a tattoo appointment yesterday, so I had to be back by Wednesday. So I ended up booking for Wednesday, and then I ended up canceling my tattoo appointment yesterday.
Damn.
Yeah. So
What were you trying to get?
I'm finishing my leg sleeve, so I was supposed to, you know, have the inside of my left calf hit, but I have like a history of blood clots. So when I got off the flight, I had like a little cramp in my leg. And for people that are familiar with like DVTs, which is like a deep vein thrombosis or thrombrosis, I don't know how to pronounce it. It could kill you, right? But it's a blood clot that forms from air pressure or like some sort of clotting in your calf and starts
Yeah.
out as a cramp. So because of my history with clots, I had a little cramp. I was like, oh, I don't want to chance this. So I went to the hospital
hell
yesterday
no.
and made sure it was straight. But it was just a cramp.
Everything
so,
was good.
Yeah. So I'm one of those people who went to the ER for a cramp.
Well, you know, bro, you like legitimately, you sound like my girlfriend, bro. Like she'll have like a little toothache, and then
Right.
she'll go over to like care, and I'm just like, bro, like you don't need to do that. Just like let it sit.
Oh, no. For this, though, because I've had
But then
one
that
before.
sounds like hella serious.
Yeah, because that, like, literally, like, you could be walking, it could dislodge and go to your lungs and explode and kill you. So, like, I've literally had a DVT before. So, like, in my right leg, a couple years ago, I was actually on a flight from the East Coast to LA,
Uh-huh.
and I got off the flight and I had a cramp, same thing, and I waited 3 days, and the third day my whole leg was numb when I woke up. It's like, yo, that ain't right. So I ended up going to the ER because I always did sports and skateboard and all that stuff
Yeah.
my whole life. So for me to like go even to the hospital, I don't even usually go for a broken bone. You know, I'll wait like a week, you know,
Yeah.
like see, oh, it'll come back together. But now because I have this history of clotting, I got to make sure because they're so like those clots could kill you even if there's no pain or
Well, yeah, like
instantly.
like even
yeah.
like one thing just seems like a super serious thing that you need to check out.
Yeah,
'Cause
but
I think when I first spoke to you, you said you were like in a therapy session. It was a couple weeks ago. I
Oh,
had
yeah,
texted
yeah,
you
for
and
my
you were like,
leg,
yeah,
for
you're
my
like, my
leg.
bad, bro. I was in like therapy, and I'm like,
yeah. Well, that's because I've tried to skate. I'm an old man, so I have old man knees. So I'm like trying to skateboard and stuff.
oh, so that had nothing to do.
There
with
was
the book.
nothing. This is just the other old people injuries. So I started skating again because I skated my whole life, and I live in LA now, so I have to
Yeah.
skateboard. You know, there's so many parks. So I would go to the parks, but I was like overdoing it, bro. Like instead of staying for like an hour, 2 hours, I would go every day for like 4 hours.
You really working that shit.
Yeah, so my knees were fucked up. Like I had like so I've been rehabbing my knee too. There's a lot of bullshit going on.
So
right
then
now.
you also can't even fly too much because of the blood clots too, huh?
No, I can fly, but I have to make sure like I stretch on the plane. I take blood thinner, like or even like an aspirin before the flight, and I'm supposed to wear compression socks, but I forgot to this last flight. I don't have them.
You just got the fly ass J's on right now.
Oh yeah, but they look good with compression socks too.
So does the blood clotting like mess with you mentally?
Nah. You just got to be aware of it. Like it doesn't hurt. It doesn't like limit mobility. There's no real issue except that it could kill you. You know, it's just like one of those things. Just don't die.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
You know, I want to give a huge shout out to Rochester,
Oh,
New
big
York,
shouts,
you know,
yeah.
the city, man. Shout out to Angie M Says too, because that's where she's from. And when she saw on the schedule that your name was on like the list of who I'm gonna interview, she was like, "Dude, why are you interviewing people from Rochester when I'm not there?"
That's funny. Where's she at?
She's currently on tour right now with this pop band called Pretty Much.
Okay.
Yeah, but she'll be in LA, I think, like, if it's not this weekend, then it's next weekend for sure.
All right, we'll have to go. We'll link up.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll go to Rodini Park, bro. I have to show you around your own neighborhood.
It's like, Ange, pull up. But, like, what was it like for you growing up in Rochester, man?
I mean, Rochester's it's a smaller city. It's a really poor city. You know, I was raised by a single mom, so you already know, like, she was working all the time, and it is what it is. Like, there wasn't a lot of opportunity. That's why I moved to New York when I did.
At what age?
Maybe 21. Yeah, I just moved to New York, and then, you know, because there's a lot of talent in Rochester, but there's no industry to support it.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're trying to do something with music or the arts or in entertainment, you're not really, even, you could be the dopest, but there's not really a spotlight on it, and the internet wasn't really launching careers back then. You know what I mean? So I know like a lot of cats from Western New York now are starting to bubble. You got like the Griselda kids, so they're killing it. Big shouts to Benny, Westside, Conway, all of them. They've been killing it.
Yeah.
So the spotlight is there a little bit now, but it wasn't there back in the day. It was just kind of like me and Green Lantern, and that was kind of it, who were known from that area, So
do you think, like, if you were, let's say you were 21, like, smack in the middle of this internet age, do you think you would have, like, more of an advantage, like, trying to get your music out there? Because Rochester didn't necessarily have that platform to put on for, like, rappers or musicians.
What do you mean? Like, where would the advantage come from?
So, like, right now, like, somebody could just be on the internet and pop off, like, tomorrow.
Right.
Or in, like, a week because they just had, like, a viral song.
Right.
And instantly they'll go from, like, let's say 100 followers to, like, 1 million, right? And that's because the internet, you can really just maneuver your music, like, through, like, a lot easily. But seeing as how, like, we grew up in an era where the internet wasn't as accessible or as, like, fun to use, like, do you think that if you were put in a situation where it was like a younger version of yourself smack in the middle of this internet time, that you would have the advantage of, like, being everywhere?
No, because I'm not, like, I feel like the internet, like, virality for artists, it just comes with fuck shit.
Yeah.
And I'm not with the fuck shit. Like, I don't have colorful hair. Like, I'm not faking beef. I'm not, like, claiming to gangbang when I don't. Like, I'm just, like, a real human being, and I don't think there's viral elements to that. So it's like, it's one of those things, like, you look at the artists that are going viral, it's everybody who's just doing the dumbest shit on the planet, and with rare exceptions, you know? So, like, I don't know if me being, like, back at, if it was exploding when I was, like, starting out, or if it would have had that viral element. Nah, because I don't think so, because, I mean, I could go do some dumb shit now and it could go viral, you know? But I'm just, like, I have nieces, I have self-respect, like, I gotta look at myself in the mirror, you know? Like, I'm not gonna put on a front like that. Yeah. You know? It's just weird to me.
Because then it's kind of weird. Like, in a sense, you kind of have, like, split personalities if you try to go with, like, the fuck shit and you just try to be as genuine as possible.
Yeah, it's weird, bro.
Unless that really is what you are. Like,
yeah, some people are good at it.
With that fuck shit.
Like, Rez has figured out, like, a way to do the virality, like, the viral stuff without being really with the fuck shit. Yeah. You know? But, like, it works for him. He's, like, a skinny, you know, younger kid who, like, kind of, like, dorky, but, like, he embraces it, you know? Like, that works for him. You know, I'm, like, this, like, big tattooed, like, scary-looking dude. I can't go, like...
You can't pull up to a McDonald's
or
a Burger King.
I can't do it, bro, because they're going to call the cops. You know, like, it was funny because when they just shot I was with them, and he actually just shot a Burger King rap, and I was with him, like, while they were shooting it, and I could just, like, in my head, I'm like, man, they really understand the internet. Must be nice.
Shit, man. Yeah, I mean, it's something to maneuver through, bro. Like, even when it comes to content, too, I find myself struggling with trying to put out some real shit, which people don't necessarily gravitate towards. And then I'm over here competing with somebody who does a backflip off a fucking roof.
Or, like, you know, like, you're a podcast, right? So, like, you're out there competing with, like, even though this is not even similar, like a No Jumper. Yeah. Or something, you know? And he's fucking his girlfriend on the internet. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how are you going to compete with that, bro? Yeah. I'm not saying that you can't, but I'm saying, like, you got to figure it out. And that's what it is, right? It's like, when you have people that are willing to be shocking and just have like, that are kind of shameless, you know? Not speaking just about Adam, it's 22, right? Yeah. Not just speaking about him, but just in general. Like, when you have people that are willing to just do whatever and they don't give a fuck about what people, like, what like, society thinks about it, or what their anybody thinks about it, and you gotta, like, go do some just, like, more, like, authentic shit. It's difficult. And not to say that's not authentic to who those people are, but if that's not in your personality, like, if you're not already one of those people who's like, yo, you know, I'm gonna fuck my girl on webcam tonight. Yeah. I mean, be okay with it. Some people are cool with it, you know?
Yeah, it's just like a whole new element that me personally I wouldn't bring to this type of platform. Right. And, you know, I'm a firm believer of just, like, longevity comes with just trying to move in the same pace and the same way you do for a long-ass time, which I feel like is something that you've been doing.
Yeah, I mean, regretfully.
Like, regretfully?
Sometimes you want the pace to pick up a little bit.
It's like, sometimes I do want to do the fuck shit, however.
Dude, sometimes, man. Sometimes these people be testing me, man. Like, you know, like, I look at these kids and the way they pop off, I just think to myself, like, yo, I'm a lot bigger than you. Yeah. Like, I'm like, I will fuck you up. but I'm not going to, because I'm, like, such a nice, peaceful person. But yeah, sometimes in my head, I'm just like, man, I just put hands on him once and just be over.
I guess what's been the most difficult part of your career, considering you've been kind of doing, like, the same thing over and over again for such a long time?
So, you know what's crazy is, so my name is Emilio Rojas, right? That's my real name. And I've always been, like, I guess now there's, like, this big emphasis on Latinx, you know?
100%.
I remember, you know, walking into radio stations in New York and having Spanish DJs tell me to tone down, like, how Latin my name was.
And how you're tone it. Oh,
yeah, you know, and, like, I remember, like, dealing with certain bloggers or certain very influential tastemakers within the genre who have told me to use my passable whiteness or just basically change my name, use a rap name, all sorts of things, because my name being what it is makes me too Hispanic to be accessible to a larger audience. Yeah. And a lot of times it came from Hispanics that were telling me that. And like, especially in New York, these were like big, that's an A market. It's a 66% Hispanic listening demographic. And these were Hispanic DJs telling me that.
Yeah, it's like, I would feel like you would want to be more Hispanic just to appeal to the masses in that point.
It's weird because it's like hip hop hip hop has kind of written out Latinos out of the narrative, and it's weird because hip hop started in the South Bronx, which is black, obviously, but it's also Puerto Rican, Dominican. Like, this is a black and Spanish art that Latinos have been like edged out of, you know. So for a long time there was a lot of emphasis on like, yo, tone that down, tone that down, tone that down. And now it's cool, you know, like for there to be a Bad Bunny, for there to be an Ozuna, for there to be a J Balvin, even though they make like Spanish music, but for them to be accepted like in pop culture, there had to be like a me, a Bodega Bams, a Joel Ortiz, because we were knocking on those doors and people were shutting them in our face.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that has been like one of the most difficult things. Like I remember, I'll say the name, fuck it. I remember sitting down at Universal with Wendy Goldstein, who was the vice president of Universal at the time. And she sat there and she told me about the hierarchy between different like Hispanic cultures. And this is like a white Jewish lady telling me that people from Spain rank here, people from Argentina here, Colombia here, and like going through this. And like that's the mentality. Like they want an exotic Latino, even still, but they don't want the homegrown. You know?
What the hell?
Yeah, so dealing with those types of things, that was difficult, you know? And then like now that it's finally cool, you have those same people like hitting your jack, like, yo, what's up? I was like, hey, what's up? How you doing?
But then, damn, bro, that is so crazy to see that everybody was like ranked in a certain order of Latinos. Like,
I mean, Hispanic culture is definitely competitive. What are you?
I'm Filipino.
Okay, so like, I mean, you definitely have like Puerto Ricans beefing with Dominicans and Colombians. I'm Venezuelan. Colombians beefing with Venezuelans, and you know, Mexicans beefing with the Guatemalans. Like everybody thinks they're better, you know. But like as a white lady, you shouldn't be telling me like, yo, you know what I'm saying?
She had no right to do that.
First of all, she kept name dropping Enrique Iglesias like by first name, like thinking I'd be impressed. I don't give a fuck if you know Enrique Iglesias, you know? Like you're the vice president of Universal. I know you're gonna know some people. Let me just
throw out a name for somebody who speaks Spanish.
Yeah, like exactly. Like, okay, you're down with the brown, cool. Like, but it was a lot of that.
But I get it though, because even being Filipino, which is like Asian, or some people would consider like Pacific Islander, right?
Right.
Like the comparison that people make, which I'm not necessarily fond of, is that like Filipinos are like the Mexicans of Asians. And to the point that like, with that being said, there's kind of like a ranking system that people place in their head. So you're saying like what, Filipinos are kind of just like on the side when it comes to Asians, in the same way like Mexicans are on the side when it comes to like Latinos in a whole. Like that shit makes no sense to me. But even to that point too, like I'm about to go to a Asian festival tomorrow.
Okay.
And a lot of the people that they put on is like Japanese, Indonesian, Chinese. And I remember going to like a whole bunch of other Asian shows, and I'm just like, okay, well, you put on for the Japanese, Chinese, and the Indonesians, but we're the Filipinos. We're like the Laos. We're like all these other subculture Asians that you're putting on if you're trying to do it for like all the Asians in general. Yeah.
There's been a fight for inclusion, you know, and that's the best way you could describe it. Like there's been a lack of inclusion. There's a lack of representation. Yeah. You know? And
I think nowadays, like, we're seeing a lot of people like put on for that fight even more. You even have the black culture putting on for like Latin culture at the same time.
Right.
Like, you know, like that Uno song, or even like songs like Go Loco.
See, but I don't find those records to be like putting on for the culture. I find them to be kind of insulting. You know, I feel like it's definitely appropriation, because like I think they're trying to get in on this Latin market.
Gotcha.
And I think it shows a lack of respect. Like when like somebody like I know YG rides for like the Mexican culture.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like when I hear the record like Go Loco, Maria, 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 like in my head I'm just like, yo, that's kind of fucking fucked up. You know, like I think about it like, okay, Maria is a stereotypical Hispanic name. Yeah. Go Loco is like a Spanish word that only Latinos know, or not that only Latinos know, that everybody knows. You know, it's Spanish that everybody can speak. And I feel like it's just like you're just lumping it in together because you don't really know more about the culture. Then I see the video, it's like sombreros and like, you know, all these like
very stereotypical.
Yeah, it's super stereotypical, and like I kind of am sick of that. Like I feel like if anybody should be speaking for our culture, it should be us. You know, and that's not a shot at YG. Like I appreciate if that's what you're trying to do, then fine, I appreciate it. You know what I mean? But I think we deserve our own voices, and instead of like having other people put on for that, like we're the biggest minority group in the United States with disproportionate representation. So give us our own platform. Stop only writing for the exotic Latinos. Like we don't like somebody doesn't need to come from South America to speak to Latinos in the U.S. There's Latinos in the U.S. that can speak to us too.
See, now I'm thinking about like, first of all, you're the first person to like give the opposite side of that argument, because a lot of people who I've spoken to on this podcast who I asked that question about,
right,
they say like, oh, you know, it's cool because we've been doing it for a long time and they're putting on for us. So, you know, like, kudos to you, man.
I feel like people are scared.
I mean? Because it's like, it's such a different way of thinking. And to my point, like, even in like the Latin culture, there's also a divide between like those who live like in South America and those who live over here too. So now it makes me think about like what they think about like the Go Locos and like the Unos of the world.
Yeah, I mean that Uno record, like I like the records. They're not bad records, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like uno, dos, tres, siete, like it's fucking retarded. Like this shit is stupid. Like let's be real. Like it's not like there's just no representation, and like that's a huge problem.
Have you felt like you've always wanted to be that voice?
I mean, I've tried to be the voice, you know. Like I know High Tone actually dropped a record called The Voice.
Shout out to your record, 20 Bands.
Oh yeah, good looking. Yeah, big shouts to High Tone. I don't really want to be anything. I just, if something needs addressing, I'm not gonna like shy away from it.
Yeah.
You know, and like it goes to, okay, I feel like there's like, all right, Floyd Mayweather when he used to fight Canelo.
Okay.
The fight would always be on Cinco de Mayo. Floyd always comes out in a sombrero. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like if the roles were reversed, like let's say Canelo came out in a dashiki, people would be throwing a fucking fit. You know what I mean? And I feel like that it's kind of the same with these records and the way the culture is being treated by outsiders. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all. And I just feel like there's enough of us where we deserve our own voice. And not only that, like, do we deserve our own voice? Like, I feel like we're just not being given access to the same platforms. Like, even in LA, there are so many Hispanic artists, I'm sure. And they're Hispanic DJs here too. Like, how come you're not hearing them the same way you would hear a YG? Or, you know, like, how come it's always written off? Like, I'm Venezuelan, so I don't even fall in this category. But how come, like, LA Mexican rappers are always written off and categorized as, like, cholo rap? You know, why can't you just be a hip-hop artist? Like, hip-hop is universal.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's 50 million white rappers.
But I do also think to that point, too, it's the same reason why, you know, like the Grammys and whatnot try to categorize people as, like, best female rapper, best female, like, singer and whatnot. Because I think, in a sense, too, despite it being, like, categorized, it kind of just, like, sheds light on it just a little bit. Because we're clearly not at that point where everyone could get clumped together and you see, like, a female MC be the same rank as, like, a male MC.
For sure.
And we're also not at that same rank where you could see, like, a Chicano or, like, Latino rapper the same as just, like, just, like, a regular rapper.
But I think that's a flaw. I think it's because we've been written out of the narrative. Hip-hop is black and Spanish. And it's just, we've been erased from the narrative. Because we don't control the media, because there's no representation. Because anytime you get a capable Hispanic writer like that does press, like there's no reason that the only playlisting that I get comes from the Latinx side. You know what I mean? Like you put me on a record with Kendrick and Cole, I'm going to hold my own every single time. Like there's no reason that, you know, like you get a writer like, yo, my man, my boy Jesus at Tidal is an amazing, he's always been an amazing writer, you know, and like he's in the Latin world, you know what I'm saying? But he's a hip hop kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So why are we like, why are all the writers who write Spanish excuse me, let me rewind. Okay, so if you're a writer and you're a media person and you're Hispanic, why are you forced to cover
the Spanish?
Only the Spanish. But when I say the Spanish, I mean the exotic Spanish, meaning the foreign, like so the Puerto Rican music. J Balvin, who's from like I think he's Colombian. Like I love all these guys, but you're a hip hop kid from New York, so cover hip hop from New York, bro. You know what I mean? Like, anytime we get a shot at having representation or having advocates, they're always pushed into the Spanish subcategory. Just like, you know, we're, as artists, pushed into the Spanish subcategory. And there's a lot of us, you know what I mean? Like, I think we're like 18% of the country or something. Like, you go to a Kendrick show in LA, it's going to be mostly Latino. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that doesn't reinforce what you just said. Like, yo, like, there's not an audience for it. It actually tells me the opposite. It tells me that the active and engaged audience wants to see somebody that also could tell their story too. I'm not saying, like, yo, we have to carve out a space, but just, like, stop writing us off. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, obviously there are going to be these people here and these people there, but, like, give us some spot. Like, write about us too. We're here too, and we're not all fucking, you know, choloed out and shit. Like, it's not. That's not the way it is.
Did you have anybody who you were seeing as kind of like that person that you wanted to be?
As far as Latinos?
As far as, like, Latinos.
I mean, there really hasn't been one massive Latino artist since Pun, and you got Fat Joe. Fat Joe's super consistent. I think Fat Joe's an underrated legend, but it's been since the 90s. There hasn't been anyone new.
Yeah. So I think it makes sense. Like, I think now I understand more of, like, that chip on your shoulder that you have.
Yeah, it's like...
Because there was nobody for you.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? like I get frustrated, like, bro, really? And the chip doesn't come because of lack of representation. The chip is from me being told by people who look like me and come from the same place I came from that there's no space for people like us.
That's fucking nuts.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, one day when we catch a record all the way, like when I crack finally, when we finally catch a record, I'll say everybody's name. Right now I can't say everybody's name.
Right now we got one.
You know? One day is only one. Today is only Wendy Goldstein. Fuck her.
Shout out Wendy.
No.
Well, whatever the opposite of a shout out is. Yo, let's take a hard segue over to communicate.
All right, let's do it.
Hey. Yo, but I will say though, I don't have like that deep of a conversation about cultural representations. You know, I appreciate that a lot, man.
That's good.
I need that. So hard segue over to communicate, man.
Hey.
I was reading a bunch of like YouTube comments, and people just love it when you make the relationship songs.
I'm really good at dysfunctional shit. That's like my forte.
Yeah. Well, I was even reading a tweet of yours, and you were saying like, if a relationship is toxic, you would just let it go, despite how much you even care about that person. I'm really butchering it. I should probably open up the tweet.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, it's hard to say, right? Because I'm sure I'm probably in some toxic relationships right now, even if it's not like romantic.
Yeah.
Toxicity is like, it's inspiration, you know, especially for artists, like especially for artists who have like darker, like I'm a dark artist, you know, like most of my music is pretty fucking dark, so I think I live in that space.
Damn. So then, does it scare you to like even get out of that space because that's what you're so used to making?
I don't know if I can. I mean, I don't know if I've ever tried to get out of the space to really identify if I'm scared of it.
I mean, Communicate does sound a lot different from like your other tracks. I think sonically.
Yeah, but I'm still, you know, it's bitch you don't communicate. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but then like, that's just you at the end of the day.
Yeah, let's be real. Like, there's a softness, like, there's vulnerability, but it comes with an edge, you know? Yeah. There's like a, like, yeah, I'm upset that she's not talking to me, but I'm just like, you fucking bitch. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Like, talk to me.
Yeah, so it's like, I'm frustrated. The bitch isn't like, I don't think all women are bitches. It's a frustration thing, you know? Like, bitch, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know? I like the record, though.
Is that record geared from someone in particular, or is it like an accumulation of relationships and you just decided to let it out at that?
I mean, I grab from places, you know, so it's like, I'm sure it could be pinpointed. I mean, if there's a girl in my life who got mad at it, then I'm probably talking about her. Yeah. You know, but I personally don't really remember.
It's like whoever feels like they caught the bullet, they caught the bullet.
If you get mad, I'm talking about you. That's it. If it applies, it applies. That's it.
Let me ask you this. How many relationships have you been in?
I don't know, dude. Like 2 or like real ones? Like 3.
3? Oh.
2.
Long lasting.
Long. Okay, yeah. I'm not like a jump from relationship to relationship guy. Like if I'm in a relationship, we're going to ride it out. You know?
Yeah. I respect that, man. Yeah. Different strokes, different folks, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So your album, I actually had to look back at it this morning. Life Got in the Way. And one record that really stuck out to me, bro, was Modern Family.
Okay.
And, talking about the hardships coming with your family, your dad obviously not being in the situation anymore, but he left you at a young age, or can you expand on that?
So, while he was around, it was tumultuous. There was a lot of like physical abuse, mental abuse, neglect for, like me and my sisters and my mother. And then when my mother, so my father's from Caracas, Venezuela, and the United States clearly doesn't have good diplomatic relationships with Venezuela. So there was no extradition. So meaning like if there's somebody who commits a crime here and leaves to Venezuela, the United States government can't forcefully bring them back. So my father, being the fucking sociopath that he was, knew that and manipulated my mother by always threatening to kidnap my little sister and take her to Caracas.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so once my sister was of a certain age, she was able to be extradited, like with some sort of international law. So my mother stayed in the relationship until my little sister was old enough to be brought back legally, moving forward. When my mother finally filed for divorce, it just the difficulty, or no, when my mother finally filed for divorce, the volatility of the situation finally came to a head. So like like all the violence and all the bullshit that we dealt with was like amplified. So he bounced, was in and out of the picture for a little bit, like typical legal battles for child support, whatnot. I'd say by the time I was like 10 or 11 years old, he was gone for good. It's funny actually because now like every once in a while I like log into my social media and I'll meet like a relative or like a brother or sister, like, hey, I'm your brother, I'm coming to your show in Pennsylvania. I'm like, okay, come on. So I know he did the same shit to a bunch of other people too. So that's what Modern Family. Yeah,
that's fucking nuts, bro.
Yeah, he's a top level scumbag, high level scumbag. Yeah.
And you've had like no communication with him whatsoever.
Well, so I went to Venezuela in like 2006, I'd say, maybe 2004. And we had some shows down there. And it was weird because I stayed at my abuela's apartment in Caracas. And I reconnected with him, like, whatever, I'm well adjusted, like, I'm not holding any grudges, but I don't view him like a father, obviously. It's more like he's just somebody I know. And I reconnected with him, and my little sister was traveling with us, and she in her mind, she wasn't old enough to really process what had happened when she was younger, so she still had like him on a pedestal. And when we were in Caracas, all that just collapsed. Like all the old abusive patterns of behavior came out, and she witnessed it for the first time. And obviously I didn't like that my little sister was dealing with that. So I ended up knocking him out in the rain in like Caracas and because he was like, there was like a long issue, and so that was the last time I saw my father. I think he's still like tapping in on her every once in a while, like checking in, but he won't hit me up because he knows. Yeah.
And how's your sister dealing with everything?
She's cool. I mean, she's great now. It was a couple of years ago, so.
Yeah.
She's fine.
Your sister likes girls?
Both. I mean, she went through a phase. I don't know if it's a phase.
Yeah.
But.
No, my sister went through the same thing, bro.
Yeah.
She told me like a couple of years ago that she was gay, and now she's about to have a baby.
Yes, exactly. My sister was gay. Yeah. She brought like a girl hockey player to prom. And then now she has 2 kids. But I mean, maybe she's what's the word? Sapiosexual.
Is that a word?
Yeah, it means you get attracted to people based on their mind. Oh. I don't know. I don't really involve myself that much in my sister's sex life.
That's very deep.
Yeah.
Sapiosexual, everybody. Learn that word for sure.
I think it's real.
So, life got in the way, man, but like apparently it took you 3 years to release that project?
Yeah.
What was going on during that 3-year span?
So we were with Violator. You remember Violator Entertainment, Chris Lighty?
Okay.
So Chris Lighty, for those of you who don't know, was a very influential music industry manager. He managed like 50 Cent, Busta Rhymes,
Gotcha.
Diddy, Yo Gotti, Missy Elliott. And Violator is like a legendary hip hop brand, you know, like they had Violator, the album, they, you know, Funk Flex, all these crazy Tribe Called Quest, Native Tongues, all that shit, right? So my old management and I had partnered with Violator Entertainment and Chris. We worked on a project, like this was the project that was supposed to be like the So Far Gone, like the catalyst for my career, right? And the day that we were supposed to meet to talk about marketing the project, Chris shot himself in the head. So rest in peace, Chris. They found him in his backyard, I think. Like I think around the same time that I was actually supposed to physically be with him in his office. So obviously, like, you know, we didn't put the records out. I kind of like stepped back. I made my other manager, went from like being partners with Chris to just taking over my whole situation. I needed time to recover. There was a lot of miscommunication between me and the label that I was dealing with about what exactly I was going to receive from them as far as support went. And I'm not going to say it was intentional, but a case could be made that the manager who ended up taking over my situation didn't necessarily have anybody's interest in mind except his own. He leveraged a lot of opportunities that were for me into opportunities for himself, and then never activated those opportunities for me. There were a lot of lies, a lot of maybe not lies. Let's call them. I'll be political. Miscommunications.
As per my last email.
Yeah, I was being told that label budgets weren't being approved, and come to find out when I finally put my project out that no label budgets were ever requested. So, like, there were a couple things, like, that went down.
Yeah.
So when I waited to put out the project, it wasn't because I wasn't putting out records, or it wasn't because I wasn't working in the studio. Like, it was because there was a huge deterioration in the infrastructure of my situation.
Yeah.
So I was trying to fix it. And I was also being told one thing that wasn't necessarily the case. Whether or not it was intentional, I don't know.
It sounds like they had you running around in circles, bro.
Yeah. So, that's why it took a little minute. But it's cool. We're back now.
Yeah,
Yeah. A little
album got released through Empire.
Yeah, Empire. Ghazi and Nima and Alan and Ari and everybody over there has always been super cool. I love everybody at Empire. They've always, done 100% right by me, stood by their word. Like, Ghazi's the type of dude where you don't even need to have something in writing. Like, if he says something, he'll hold you down. That's it. And like that's rare in this industry.
Yeah.
So
shout out to Ghazi, man.
Yeah, big shout out to Ghazi.
For like a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
Emilio Rojas and just fucking everybody, bro.
For
Empire
sure.
Empire got everybody right now. Hence the name Empire.
Yeah.
God, man. We dug so deep.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I don't care. I'll talk about all of it.
You got me kind of stuck. You got me like so buried beneath the dirt right now that I'm trying to like find my way out.
Hey, man. It's all good.
Shoot. There was even this one instance in the song Modern Family where cops raided your house.
Oh, that was just because it wasn't cops raiding my house. It was my father was physically abusive to my mom. So cops would show up. Yeah, because the neighbors would call the cops or whatever. Like, that shit was real. Like, I remember my mom used to hide under her bed. Like, when my father... Yeah, so,
How do you deal with everything, bro? Because it just seems like your life is just so... I mean, it's crazy in your normal Modern Family life, and it's also crazy in terms of, like, your industry life. Your career,
somebody
bro.
owes me. Somebody up there owes me big.
Right?
I'm just waiting. I'm waiting. Or maybe this is karma. Maybe I did some dirt. I don't know. I'm sure.
Dirt in the past life?
Maybe it was this life. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Things are looking up. I'm not tripping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, do you have like a project coming out that's attached to Communicate?
Nah, I'm gonna just throw singles out. I feel like the project era is kind of over with.
Dying?
I think it's dead, dude.
Yeah.
Unless you're like a major artist, like a Kendrick or a J. Cole.
I mean, even Kanye's albums are 7 tracks.
Yeah, like...
Which would be an EP.
Exactly. People have no attention span for music.
Yeah.
You know, and like somebody like me who isn't like, I'm not majorly funded. You know, we're going to spend $30,000 to market an album and people are going to forget about it in a week. So I might as well just drop a record a week, you know, or however.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah, that's definitely the wave because I'm A&Ring a whole bunch of music right now too, and I'm just like, yeah, this project thing. Especially if you're a newer artist too, it's kind of like you don't want to release like 12, 13 songs because nobody's going to go through the whole thing.
Nobody.
I think the average amount of time that people spend on a record now, like on Spotify, is probably like a minute and a half.
It's crazy. That's why all these super short songs are streaming like crazy too, like Gucci Gang or all those like little pump records. They're all under 2 minutes. They know how to play the system.
So then is the art, like, does it suck in terms of, like, artistry? Because do you feel like you have to, like, fit yourself within that wave now? Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't suck. It's just new parameters that you have to learn how to operate within. You know, it's, you know, like, I could rap. I could really rap. You know, and it's, like, one of those things where, like, people don't care.
Yeah.
So it's, like, I could give somebody a crazy 6-minute story verse with twists and make people think about life. I could do that all day. Or I could, you know, make some 90-second record with a super repetitive hook. I could do that too. But like at this point in my life, like I already proved that I could rap. You know, like I'll drop some freestyles every once in a while just to for the people that don't understand what it is. Like even this new generation, man, these new rappers, they're being graded on the curve. You know, cuz they can rap, but the bar is so low. You know, like when we came up, we were, you know, it was like Corey Guns. It was like Joe Budden. It was like cats that really spit.
You guys were like hella competing.
Yeah, I mean, cats could really, really spit. You know, and like now there's a few. There's like 2 or 3. You got like Joyner. You got the kid Corday. He's tight. Besides that, from the new generation?
Yeah.
Who?
I think one person who's really cracked the code, like going to Joyner, like Joyner can make a song about like drinking and driving, and then the visual is just gonna be crazy.
Oh yeah, he mastered.
You know
that.
what I mean? And I think it's like situations like that where people have to think of this is how you can really market your music in a creative way.
Yeah, no, I think the visuals being like next level are what really propelled Joyner.
Yeah.
Like even I'm Not a Racist, like it's not like a traditional hit record, what you would consider a hit record, right? Like super catchy hook, or it's like a 6-minute song. You know, and it was just super simple video, but like everything about it was perfect. Like that's just somebody who understands. Like Joyner has that mind that just understands how to deliver content that's going to be polarizing and get people to share it.
And it's not viral per se. It's really just, I mean, it's really just like an ode to what happens year by year in the United States.
Yep. I mean, I think that he was very deliberate with the video. I think he's smart. Like, I think to say it wasn't viral is doing him a disservice. Like, even the thumbnail on that was brilliant. Like, it's a white dude with a beard and a MAGA hat, and the song is I'm Not a Racist.
Yeah.
It doesn't get more clickbaity than that, you know? And, like, that's not to take anything away from the record. If anything, that's another layer of, like, how smart and calculating him and his camp are. You know? Like, I think it's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so back to you, Emilio.
Okay.
When are you dropping the next single?
I have a lot of records, man. I have a lot of records. I'm sitting on like 80.
Shit.
So I don't know.
At this point, you could drop one a day.
Yeah, probably for the rest of 2019.
Yeah.
I want to drop one a week, but I just want to like get into a little wave, like a nice content pattern.
Yeah.
You know?
Any features on these records?
You know, it's funny. You know who Andy Mineo is?
Yeah.
So that's my boy. So he just sent me a verse back, and he dissed me on the whole verse. I'm going to get you, bro. I'm going to get you, bro. I swear I'm going to get you. He's a Christian rapper, you know, but he's not like, he doesn't only rap about like church and stuff, you know, but I'm going to get him. I'm going to get you, bro. Just wait.
Shout out Andy Mineo, man. I haven't heard that name in a minute.
Oh, he kills it, though.
But
Andy kills it.
Shout out Andy, man. Emilio, where can everybody find you?
Go to, where can... Go to www.emiliorojas.com. You can put it on the screen because we don't have to spell it out.
Yes,
yeah, just
course,
do that.
Yeah.
Or just at Emilio Rojas on Instagram, at Emilio Rojas on Twitter, Facebook, I am Emilio Rojas, youtube.com, Emilio Rojas. Just Emilio Rojas. Just look up my name.
There you go.
Yeah, we're good.
Well, this is the lunch table, food for thought. I'm Nico Blitz, Emilio Rojas. Also, shout out Eric LaRock for putting this shit together.
Peace.